The R code that I show in this video is available on Elms, and you may want to take a minute to download it and open it if you'd like to follow along on your own. In this video, we'll break down the anatomy of an RMarkdown document. By the end of this video, you should know what the important parts of an RMD file are. You'll learn what markup is and what it does in RMarkdown, and you'll learn some common markup codes in RMarkdown and how they're translated into the output document. In the last video, we created a basic RMarkdown document using the default settings. We didn't actually try and edit the document at all. Let's look at how R actually processes the contents of a Markdown file in detail. So again, an RMarkdown document can be broken into three components. At the top is the YAML header. This is several lines between rows of hyphens. This part of the document defines the document properties, such as the author, title, and the date the document was created. These are set when you create the file. RStudio will fill in values for you, but you can feel free to change them on your own. This information tells Knitter how to process the document. So I prepared a sample RMarkdown document. So at the top, you see the YAML header. Again, this is the section of text that starts with 3 dashes and ends with 3 dashes. It contains information about the document. In this case, there's a title, a subtitle, an author, and something specifying the output format. The next component in that file is the options chunk. This is usually one line between some rows of backticks. There'll be 3 backticks in a row. This uses R code to provide additional setup information to R. The stuff that's there right now, you probably never want to change, but it's also a good place to add your own setup code. For example, if you wanted to include the file path command there to point to your personal directory, this is a good place to put it in your document because it's at the top and it doesn't show up in your document. Lastly, after the code chunk is the body of the document. This contains all of the markup and R code that's going to be used to create your document. So what goes into the body of the document? RMarkdown processes the body of the document using a markup language. These are special characters that tell Knitter how to process and format the text in your document. This video is going to focus on that markup language and how you would format text. Again, this markup is going to tell Knitter how you want each piece of text formatted. You may feel like you know some of these already. So the basics of the markup language in RMarkdown is that everything is treated as a single line until you have a blank line. If you want a paragraph break in your text, then you need to press the return key twice to put a full blank line between 2 rows of text. If you see weird formatting in your output document, make sure that you have the intended number of carriage returns. So RMarkdown uses a series of formatting codes to tell Knitter how you would like the output text formatted. For example, starting a line with a hashtag will make the text in that line header text in your output document. Using 2 in a row will make a second level header. Using 3 in a row will make a third level header, and so on. Placing text between asterisks makes it italics, and placing text between paired sets of 2 asterisks makes it bold. RMarkdown allows for numbered lists. Starting a line with a 1 and a period makes that row part of a numbered list. The actual number that you type doesn't matter. Knitter actually keeps track of the item number, so every item can start with 1 and a period, and Knitter will automatically increment the counter and keep track of the numbering for you. If you have a blank row, that's going to restart numbering of a list. The last piece of basic formatting code are backticks. This is in the very upper left-hand corner of your keyboard. If you put text between 2 backticks, it makes it appear as computer code. Let's look at the body of my sample document. So you can see I have some text here, including our Markdown markup. I'll just show you some examples of what that markup looks like and how it translates to a Microsoft Word document. So you can see I have a level 2 header that's denoted by 2 hashtags, followed by the text RMarkdown, and then a sentence that contains some asterisks around the word very. And if you'll notice in the corresponding Word document, that text very is in italics. Below that, I demonstrate each of the different heading levels, 1 through 3. Again, adding more hashtags will make the heading level a higher heading level, which makes the text smaller and less bold. Notice you can put text after the heading by including a blank line between the heading and the text. You'll notice here on line 27, I have some additional text. If you put text between a single asterisk, what you can see is it's italics. And if you place it between double asterisks, it will be bolded. Next, I have an example of a numbered list. So you can see I have 3 rows, each one starting with a 1 and a period. This corresponds to the numbered list in the Word document. Notice though that the Word document increments up, whereas I only need to include a 1 and a period in the Markdown document. What RMarkdown does is it sees that 1 and a period, knows the following text should be part of a numbered list, but it keeps track of the numbering for you. Lastly, in that last paragraph, you can see that I have some sample computer code. Again, you make something formatted to look like computer code by putting it between a pair of backticks. This code isn't evaluated by R, it just makes it look like computer code in your output document. This can be handy if you want to use formatting to denote something one might type into a computer. The fact is there's many more options for markup in RMarkdown. If you're curious about them, what I recommend doing is using your favorite internet search engine and searching for RMarkdown cheat sheet. There's some really good ones out there. The RStudio website has a particularly complete one. You can also get to that through the RStudio help menu. So again, you can find these by using your favorite search engine to look for RMarkdown cheat sheet on the internet, or actually in the help menu in RStudio, you can go to cheat sheets and then select the RMarkdown cheat sheet. And that will download a PDF of the most recent RMarkdown cheat sheet from RStudio's website. There's a lot of information on this cheat sheet, but it's a very handy reference.